Hi there everyone, my name is Paul, and I've played the Hypixel Pit for over 700 hours, and today I'm going to teach you which perks you need to use to progress through the game well. When you start out, you're going to be on no prestige, you're going to have access to only 3 perk slots, and not even going to be able to use all of them at once. So first off, as soon as you get 500 gold, you're going to want to buy goldenheads. They're better than golden apples, and they're an instant heal perk. Now if you're playing in mid, you're going to want to use gladiator. Next, unless you're very good at getting kills in PvP, in which case you could use strength chaining. And for your third perk slot, you'll probably want to go for safety first. It really helps to have 4 pieces of armor. If you're going on the outskirts, taking 1v1s, you still want to use goldenheads, but you probably use strength chaining instead of gladiator. If you're going to be playing in diamond for these first prestiges, in mid, you're going to want to use vampire. Unless you really like goldenheads, you want to stick with gladiator or strength chaining in the middle. Gladiator if you find it tough to stay alive, strength chaining if you're getting kills quite easily, and then safety first again for your third perk slot. It really does help, trust me, that extra piece of armor. Safety first is very good. And if you're going to be in diamond in the outskirts of the map, you probably want to go for goldenheads instead of vampire, and then strength chaining and safety first. You won't need gladiator because there won't be many players around you. By the time you get to prestige 2, you should now have unlocked either dirty or barbarian, possibly both if you've been doing very well in your events. So once again, if you're in iron in mid, you want to go for goldenheads, strength chaining, and then dirty. Dirty will mean you can get some higher streaks. Combine that with the strength chaining, it'll be much easier to stay alive. If you're going on the outskirts, you want to probably go with goldenheads, and you can have barbarian or dirty. Barbarian's good if you're taking 1v1s, because dirty, you won't need it anymore, and then go for safety first. Now, once you've got dirty and you're playing in diamond, if you're in mid, you want to go for vampire, strength chaining if you're good at PvP, gladiator if maybe you're struggling to stay alive, and then dirty is your last perk slot. Now by the time you get to prestige 5, you should probably have bought fancy hat, which means you won't need to use safety first in most situations anymore, because you'll get a free leather hat which doesn't take up a perk slot. And you can also buy your 4th perk slot, so effectively you've got 2 extra ones by the time you get to prestige 5. So if you're iron grinding, you should probably have Olympus, which you can get at prestige 4, because that'll give you a lot of XP, and it's quite a nice healing perk. Then you can have first strike, dirty again, and then either strength chaining or barbarian, depending on if you're fighting a lot of people, or just taking 1v1s. And if you're in diamond, around prestige 5, you want to stick with vampire, first strike, dirty, and then gladiator if you're in mid, barbarian if you're taking a lot of 1v1s, and strength chaining if you've got a lot of players around you. So that's probably the main perks you're going to have, and by that point you'll probably have a good feeling for the game and what you should do in different situations. So now we're going to move on to the major events, and these are the perks that I use. Now we're going to assume that you've got 4 perk slots at this point of the game, and have unlocked a fair amount of the perks themselves. So for Rage Bit, here's what I use. I always use First Strike, because this is all about doing damage. Gladiator, because you're surrounded by other players, so you'll definitely want to use that to take less damage. Now you can use Overheal, so that you can have 4 Rage Potatoes, because that's your only way to heal in Rage Pit. Although I think some mystics work as well, but this guide is purely shop gear based. You can change bits and pieces if you're using mystic items as well. And if you're using Mind Assault, you don't need to use Barbarian, so you can use Strength Chaining. If you do not have Mind Assault, then you probably do want to use Barbarian instead of Overheal, and you definitely still want Strength Chaining to do extra damage. Okay, next event, Pizza. Because you already have Speed 2 permanently in Pizza, you don't want to use First Strike, because it'll mess up your speed. So instead, use Gladiator, because there'll be loads of people all over the place. Vampire, because you don't want your hotbar filled with soups or any other healing perks, because you want to deliver those pizzas. Dirty, if you do get any kills, it's useful to be a bit more tanky. And I'd go for safety first, honestly. You don't really want to be getting too many kills in pizza, so it's best to stay alive easily, and safety first will help do that, even if you've already got fancy hat. Okay, on to blockhead. For the blockhead event, I always use vampire as my healing perk. First strike, because you do take a lot of 1v1s in blockhead. Dirty, for when you've killed them. And gladiator, because there are quite a lot of people in one place as well. On to Spire. Spire doesn't have any healing perks that work with it anymore, so you're going to want to go for overheal, so you can have more of the Spire healing things. First Strike, which does work in Spire, so you'll get some speed and a bit of extra damage on your first hit on anyone. Gladiator, because you'll be surrounded by other players. And then you can go for either Safety First or Mind Man. Safety First, very useful, even over the fancy hat, because it will give you some extra protection. Or Mind Man is actually quite useful in Spire, because you can block yourself off. If you get to a floor you're happy with and you don't want to continue going on, you can block yourself in, and hopefully people will leave you alone. So onto the TDM, Team Deathmatch event. You definitely want to use Gladiator, because there's a lot of people and it'll be in mid. Don't waste your time going out of mid, you won't be getting kills and assists, and that's what the score is based on. You want to use either Vampire or Soups for healing. Soups you do get on an assist, so that'll be very helpful. You can see how your progression goes on the score with that. Strength Chaining is very good in TDM if you're getting lots of kills, and Dirty, just to help keep you alive as well. On to Raffle. Raffle is a bit of a weird one. You want to make sure you always use diamond gear in Raffle so people don't think you're a weak target that they can just kill for tickets. You definitely want to use Gladiator again. As with most events, there'll be a lot of people waiting around the place that you deliver the tickets to, so it's good to not have too much damage done to you whilst you're trying to get those tickets in there. You want to use First Strike. I like that in Raffle because it means if you want to run around a bit faster to grab tickets, you can just hit someone with a bow shot or a melee shot just to run around a bit quicker. Use Vampire or Soups again, but you probably won't be getting many kills, so Vampire I would use. And then Safety First just helps to keep you alive when you're trying to deliver those tickets. Next major event, Robbery. Again, use Vampire or Soups, depending on which one you prefer. Stick with Gladiator for this one, because you'll be surrounded. Then use Strength Chaining and Dirty to help get you some extra money and to keep you alive after you get those kills. Next is Beast, which is a little bit of a different one, because first of all you need to actually become Beast, which means either getting very lucky and being a beast straight away or killing another beast. Now the beasts cannot heal unless they have certain mystics which give them absorption hearts on a kill or a combo. Now for this I always use Gladiator, because when you become beast you're going to be absolutely swarmed by players. Then you want Strength Chaining so you can get as many beast kills as possible. Dirty to help keep you alive as you're getting consistently stabbed. And then you probably want to go Vampire or Safety First. Vampire will help you become Beast in the beginning, but it won't work once you are the Beast. So if you think you can kill a Beast easily enough, Safety First is quite useful and will help you to take less damage when you actually are Beast. Next event is Squads. For this I always use Vampire, because you're usually only going to be taking 1v1s at a time. Even if a whole squad comes around, it's not worth using another kind of healing perk really. Dirty, if you do get attacked by a whole squad, or there's a lot of people around, then I usually use Barbarian, because you want to use a lot of damage at once, and combine that with First Strike. Once again, the Barbarian axe is very good in a 1v1 situation, especially if you're in Diamond and use the Diamond one, so that helps me out a lot in squads, and people are less likely to attack you as well, which means it's a bit easier to get those banners and to get a higher score. Okay, let's do a couple of the minor events, because there are a few that you need a certain perk setups for. King of the Hill, you want to go with Gladiator, because you'll be surrounded by players. Either Soups or Vampire. Soups if you're struggling to stay alive, because you'll get a lot of assists. Vampire if you're good at getting kills quickly, and that'll keep you alive. Even if you don't get kills and you can click on a lot of people, Vampire will probably help you if you're quite tanky. Then you want to have Dirty and Strength Chaining, because Strength Chaining will help you get a lot more kills. on the King of the Hill, and you know that means more XP. Next minor event, 2 times rewards. For this, I like to use either gladiator or strength chaining as the first perk. Gladiator helps keep you alive if there's a lot of people around, if you're maybe struggling to do well with the PvP that day, and then strength chaining if you're on a roll, so you can get lots of extra double rewards kills. Combine that with first strike, dirty, and either soups or vampire. If you're a PvP beast, I would use vampire and strength chaining for 2 times rewards. If you're struggling to stay alive, maybe stick with gladiator and soups, so you can get lots of assists. The soups keep you alive, and the gladiator will keep you alive with lots of people around you. The last minor event I'll cover is King of the Ladder. This one, you don't need to be getting any kills. All you need to do is stay as high as you can on the ladder, without people knocking you off of it. So for this, I like to use a gladiator, just so you're taking less damage. You do get permanent regen, I think regen 4 on King of the Ladder, so it is very hard to die, but it's still possible. And then you can use a lava bucket perk on this event. Place it where you want to stay, and then just sit on it with your sword blocked, and the regen will cancel out the lava damage, and it will be a lot harder for you to be knocked off of it. Pro tip. Then you could use safety first, just so you've got even more likelihood of staying alive, and then vampire, so if you get low you can just spam hit a few people and get your health back up. Now there's a few other situations which you'll need to use different perk setups in. One of these would be the Obby box. If there's an obsidian box and you're grinding in that, I find the best perks for that are gladiator, because of the sheer amount of players that should be running in. Vampire, so you don't have to worry about hotkeying to any healing perks, and you won't have to honestly if there's enough people. Strength chaining, so that you can kill people really quickly as soon as they come in your box. And dirty. So if you are on a roll, so you've got strength 5 going, and you've got consistent dirty with all the kills, it'll be really difficult to die, unless you get hunted by someone with bounty hunter or similar to that. Speaking of hunting, a good selection of perks for hunting, so you want to get someone's 5k, someone's got a big bounty, you want to get that. In shop gear, you want to use the bounty hunter perk. You'll do a lot of extra damage to them if they've got a high bounty. Use full diamond, or at least a diamond sword, because combined with the bounty hunter perk, a diamond sword's great. I know that's not a perk, but just make sure you use it. Vampire, because chances are this will probably be a 1v1 situation. If you start hunting them, they'll probably try to run away. First strike, so you do a bit of extra damage and have at least speed 1, so that you can chase them. And then you can either use safety first or mine man. Safety first, if they're going to be hitting you a few times back, it's worth using so that you take a bit less damage. And then mine man, if you think you're good at PvP and you don't need safety first, in case they run away and block up, you can still get them if you mine a block where their feet are. They won't be able to hit you, you'll be able to hit them. You're a winner. And then for general iron streaking, I'd like to use barbarian axe, first strike, dirty, and then for healing, either Olympus if you want to get lots of XP, golden head if you want to do better on health, and vampire if you feel like you're super good at PvP, I guess, and do lots of bow shots. Vampire isn't that good if you're using iron though, in general, unless you're just trading hits with people a lot who are also in iron. Then for general diamond streaking, this could be a mid or on the outskirts. I usually use soups, but you can use vampire if you get a lot of kills. Strength chaining to get a lot of kills. Dirty to keep you alive. And then you can either use first strike if you want that extra damage and extra speed, or gladiator if there's a ton of people around you at all times. So that's all the perks that I usually use in different events, different situations. Early prestige, late prestige. Remember, I also have played on lower accounts in recent times, after updates, and those perks are generally still good, but it will be tough. It's always tough as long as everyone else is getting more stacked and has more perks themselves. But I hope this guide will help you in your quest to prestige over and over again, and it will get easier to get all those kills as you get more gear and more perks, and learn which perks better work for you. So thank you for watching, hope this is a useful guide, I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe for some ridiculous Hypixel Pit action. See ya!